Hello, and welcome back to PreciseAlgorithmTrading.com. It is Thursday, April 27th, and we are experiencing some volatility in the markets. Um, Excuse me, I got a little congestion going on, so it sounds like a cold coming on. Anyways, I'll persevere and get through this. And what did the markets do today? So I think if you followed me yesterday, you know that I'm suddenly bearish, and today we had a big bullish move. So that's okay with me. I loaded up some more to the downside, and not only, I should say, only on the stuff that makes sense. So um, we'll see how this plays out. But I've got, I won't give this very much room. If this thing starts to take out these highs back over here on the right hand side in the overall markets, I'll get long again. But we're not getting deep buy signals with overextended. Um, this stuff's still sort of it's in the overbought cycle, and so we need to get yet oversold. So this isn't really convincing, and I'm going to still stay in some longer trades. I mean, Apple's still good, and for now anyway. This flowers.com or whatever that is, FLO, that thing looks good on a chart. So, anyways, that's not what we're really here to talk about. We're here to talk about the markets in general. So, the markets went up big today. The Dow Jones was up 524 points, 1.57%. The S&P was up 1.96%. Um, I'm sure the Russell followed with that. The Nasdaq was up 2.43%. So, that if this thing craters tomorrow, remember this. There's a chance we got all these sell signals going on, and the bullish percent indexes were going down, and the markets propped up the price action today in a big way, so that the big institutions can sell off their shares, and then they can tank the markets. Now, that sounds like a conspiracy theory. I'm telling you, it happens. I'm not saying it's happening this time. I could totally have to reverse, and if that's the case, I'm going to reverse. So you got to be nimble, and you got to be willing to make those kind of reversals. So let's look at the Russell just because we're here. Um, Nothing really to report. That's still going down. Uh, the Dow, it's a buy signal on the daily as of the 27th today, and it's showing, whatever, it's fine tomorrow, and it's still bearish on the weekly. So that's uh, mixed, right? That's what that is really showing. The Nasdaq was the, I think, power move today, which actually makes sense because we're up here in this zone. There's nothing. This thing's really it's been powering higher on the weekly, and all we've had was some daily signals that there's a lot of chop. So this thing could continue higher, and the Nasdaq can move nicely. Amazon reported earnings. Actually, Meta reported earnings to last night. It's Facebook. We talked about this last night, and it did pop. I think that's 13%. Um, Amazon reports tonight, and this looks like a really bullish pattern. Um, I actually would expect some back and forth over here in this zone, some consolidation before we get to breakout to the upside. But if I flip this to a 15-minute chart, I really should just set this up this way so I don't have to do the settings every night. But it's probably helpful to somebody to see how to do the settings. You can slow this down and back it up, show extended hours, and apply. You can see it popped really big during, I don't know when they actually reported. It's probably in all these little dots down here. But, and then it's subsequently sold off. So, the fact that the indexes are down over here overnight, I'm going to say has something to do with this. You know, call it what you want. Call it. There might be some news out there. I frankly don't really pay attention to the news, not much anyway, because the what's happening with the momentum and the price action, and that's really what all my studies are based on, is good enough for me. So it really everything's it should be in the chart that I need. So that's that. Um, then what did oil do today? Just for the look of it, looks like the USO contract went up by 0.69%, and looks like oil itself is kind of, I mean, it's under the weather right now. We do have a buy signal on the weekly though, and I think I said that the other day. So let's flip over to the bullish percent indexes at stockcharts.com, and I typed in bullish, and that gives us all these bullish percent indexes up front. We're going to look at the well, I don't think the Dow moved today at all. It moved down hard yesterday. The NASDAQ, or the New York Stock Exchange, I'm sorry, it hardly moved. Transports in a column of O's actually moved up quite nicely today, 14%. So that's, I mean, there are some mixed signals going on. The NASDAQ minus 1.79% in the face of a market that was that strong today. That's interesting. The SPX, it rolled over to a column of O's yesterday, and it's up by 1.52% today. It's going to take quite a move. 1, 2, 3. So it's got to get back up above 62 to put in a new column of X's at this point. And then the NASDAQ 100 is still, it didn't move today, but it moved down hard yesterday. And the S&P 100, the OEX, tacked on an O to the downside today, so it's down by 1.64%. There's going to be something, I mean, it's going to take quite a bit to reverse these bullish percent index charts, and I think it's going to mean that we're going to see some downside action, and there's probably some more volatile downside action pretty quick. And if that happens, just be ready. But in the face of today, I took a minor loss today because I was literally buying in for things that are inverse ETFs. For when the market goes down, they actually gain. So I'm not saying that's the right thing to do for everybody, but I do know what I'm doing. I do know how to get back out again if I'm wrong, and I've made a career of that. So, but actually part of the reason why I like to trade automatically in our trading systems is because these things, there's no bias, there's no human component to it other than when I program them in the first place, other than hating when these things tank like this, but not minding it too bad when they start to pick back up again like they are right now. So this has to happen in order for this thing to refill, and these pullbacks happen. So on the 6-month chart, this is what it looks like. It's still positive for the year. That's good. Yeah, it's enough to say about that. So that was the Dow, and this is the Russell. It's also sort of acting like it wants to come back up again, although it's a lot more back and forth down here. And you got to realize this is not a bullish system. This is a bullish and bearish system together. Trades go up, trades go down. We win, we lose, we add them all together, we get probabilities, and that's what we do. We play the probabilities. It's kind of like a casino, and if you play blackjack in a casino, the casino actually has, I think, 51% odds, and the player has 49% odds. The casino has the better odds and will win over time. In these situations, these systems are set up, they don't even have to have a 50% edge. They have to win more than they lose when they do win. So that's how they're built. I'd prefer to have a better than 50% edge. I think all these actually do in time, but that's not really what drives this. It's more about having bigger wins than losses and having an upward sloping equity curve in the long run. So this is the Russell on the 6-month chart. We have been pulling back hard lately, but you know that's going to happen. I mean, it pulled back hard back here too. And then the Nasdaq's the one that's been, it sound like a broken record. I say this every night, but it's been the one that's gone off to the races. So I mean, this is kind of like in the face of the other. This is exactly what you want. I really want them all to do this. And by the way, this kind of a gap from here to here, not saying it's going to happen, but it could get refilled inside of a day or two. So I've seen it happen before. So that's the NASDAQ, and this is it over the 6-month period. So that's what I got for you tonight. Hopefully it helps everybody. Take care, guys, and batten down the hatches if necessary for the weekend.